Jon Jones is easily one of the biggest names in the MMA world right now, whether it's due to some past events with other fighters or his recent run-in with the law. So, what happened to him? What is going on with his career, and will he fight again? Well, stay tuned to this video because we are going to answer all of that and more as we cover Jon Jones, who will never be respected in MMA after what happened. What happened with Jon Jones? We are assuming everyone knows who Jon Jones is, right? He is one of the biggest MMA stars right now, but maybe not for the right reasons. Just a few weeks ago, Jon Jones was arrested in Las Vegas, Nevada after a supposed battery, domestic violence, and tampering with a vehicle charge. This all came just hours after the conclusion of a UFC Hall of Fame ceremony. The damages that Jon Jones caused were around $5,000 in value and just gave the fighter a really bad look. Jon Jones then went on to post bail, and many people went on to dissing the fighter and talking about some really bad things regarding him. People were already on the edge when it came to Jon Jones because of his actions in the ring, but this one really pushed people's opinions over the edge. What do others think about Jones? What happens when a big incident like this happens? Well, people began to talk, and talk they did. So many people spoke out about Jones on social media, but many influential people in the MMA world spoke out about him, more specifically Michael Bisping. He had this to say: "I will say this, we don't know the details, but a man, certainly a man like Jon Jones, a large man, and who's also one of the greatest of all time, if not the GOAT of mixed martial arts, has absolutely no place hitting a woman." Bisping is obviously completely right in saying that. An MMA fighter shouldn't be going around hitting anybody outside of the ring. It's not a good look for him, and even his fellow MMA fighters are starting to lose respect for him. People have respect for Jones, but what else do you think came from all of this? Some more loss of respect, or maybe even another issue? One main issue right now with Jon Jones is that people do still respect the man. They respect him for the fighter he is in the ring, the man who fights his heart out and has some incredible skill. They respect him as a fighter, but not as a person anymore. It's hard to keep liking someone while knowing they aren't a good person at heart. He seems very misguided right now and just isn't in the right headspace. He needs to build his reputation back up and gain some more respect, but that's going to be really hard for him because people do not like him right now. It's going to be a long process, but he just might be able to do it. Jones's history with the law. Most of you must know that this isn't the first time Jon Jones has been involved with the law, right? He has had multiple run-ins in the past, and they aren't that great. One thing to think about is that you can't really judge someone based on their past if they are trying to make themselves better, and that is a great thing to go by. But when it comes to Jon Jones, it's now a different thing altogether. Even if he says he's trying to fix himself, he still just did what he did. It's not something he can just brush off. It's a really serious thing that he did the other week. No one can look past it with ease. Jon Jones is slowly losing more respect as he continues to fail on becoming a better man and a better person. It's all good when he is working on himself, but when an attack like this happens, it's hard to say he is trying. What a hard situation everyone is in with Jon Jones right now. Dana White on Jon Jones. Who is the biggest guy in the MMA world? Well, it's Dana White, of course, and he has had some things to say about Jon Jones. Dana White has been going on about Jon Jones for a while now. Jon has given Dana a lot of problems over the years, whether it's Jones not going for a fight or him waiting out for a title fight. He just hasn't been the sort of fighter that Dana White wanted him to be. Jon Jones is such a PR mess for the entire MMA world, but Dana White had an interesting take on the whole situation. He was asked about publicly dropping Jon Jones for being a PR headache, but he responded with, "Well, that's the fight business. Things happen here every day." It's an interesting take. When there are so many people fighting to be the best, there are going to be complicated conflicts, and just dropping them isn't worth it. But what has Dana done with Jon Jones to make him learn his lesson? Stay tuned, because we are just about to talk about if Jon Jones will ever fight again. Will he fight again this year? So what is the big question on everyone's minds? Well, will Jon Jones be fighting again this year? According to Dana White, the answer is no. There have been many different types of reactions to this. People want him to fight again because they love his fights. Some people can remove the bad characteristics away from the fighter. They just want to see someone fight. The other side are people who despise what he is doing. Both sides of this are valid, but at the end of the day, Dana White is the one who decides it all, and he needs to teach Jon Jones some sort of lesson. He doesn't want to lose Jon because he brings in money and views, but he needs to show him that this behavior is not acceptable. What will happen to his career after this? Another big question that people are wondering about is what will happen to his career after this. While his career is definitely not over right now, it could be going down the drain. When the fighters lose respect for another fighter, two things will happen. One, they won't support his career and will not want anything to do with him. This means no promotion and no conversation between fights. Two is that more people will have a reason to want to beat him. The fury will drive them to want to fight him, and it can create some amazing events in the future. This is what will be happening with Jon Jones right now, but what else are people thinking about him? Any respect from the fans? The fans are a huge part of a fighter's career. So what do fans think of Jon Jones right now? So many people are attacking him for what he did, and that's very valid, but again, two things come from that. Some people want to see him fight because they want to see him lose. lose. Just look at Jake Paul. People hate him and they want to see him lose. This means they buy pay-per-view tickets and watch the fights, which brings in money. This is what could happen to Jones. The other side are people who don't really care and their respect for his fighting is still there. This again means more pay-per-view purchases and his career will still be going. Jon Jones is in a situation where even if people hate him, the MMA and UFC can't really let him go because he brings in so much money. What happens now that the respect is lost? So, to end this video, what happens now that so much respect has been lost for Jon Jones? The most annoying part to most is he will still be fighting. He may have no respect from a large side of the fan base and even the fighters, but he will still be fighting. Jon Jones already brings in lots of money with his fights, and when people want to see him lose, those sales will increase. It's a weird situation for Dana White, but at the end of the day, he is a businessman. He can see that Jon Jones just isn't doing well right now, but he is still an amazing fighter. He knows he can make some good money from him, so he'll continue to do so. Jon Jones may never be respected in MMA again after what he has just done, but it doesn't look like he will be leaving anytime soon. Dana knows what he can bring to the table. And that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please let us know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Bye.